It's an honor to be, I feel, to be in this company with so many informed people, informed Hawaiians. Lots of times when I'm singing, I'm trying to share a knowledge that is both cultural and historical with people who really don't have that kind of background. You know, last night I was at the Hawaii Authority for Rapid Transit, Rail Transit, last night at their testimonial hearing, and just so I want to share that with you. One of the tracks they're planning to build runs along Hale-Kauila, or they plan to run it through Hale-Kauila. I'm objecting to that because of the background that there's my phone going off on the table. Uy. Bring them, I'll turn them off. Wouldn't you know that I'm sitting there the whole time and nothing? At least that's my daughter leaving for Japan. She always calls me before she goes out. Anyway, Hale-Kauila got its name because Hale is a house. Kauila is the wood. That Kauila wood that Hale-Kauila was constructed from actually came from Hale-Ea on the Big Island, where Puhonua Hohonaunau is located. The reason that happened is when Queen Ka'ahumanu became Kuhinanui, one of her first acts was to attempt to demolish the heiau. And so the kahuna got word of it, took down Hale-Ea, took the Kauila wood as well as the ka'ai that contained the bones of the Keawe dynasty up into the caves. Around the year 1836, when King Kamehameha was the third, was on the throne, he was living in Honolulu, in that area where you see Hale-Kauila, Pohukaina, a much larger area than what is there. There are 2 empty blocks of land from the judiciary on the Eva side to Cook Street on the Diamond Head side. That land was referred to as Honuakaha, and that became the residence of our king with his family, his retinue, his warriors, and his providers of food and whatever else the king needs. Queen Ka'ahumanu had passed away. She was living on this island in Manoa Valley, and that's where she died, at her home up in the back there called Puka'o Ma'o. It had green shutters, and that's what it means. Her successor was the half-sister of the king, Kina'u, and she became Ka'ahumanu II. Nahi'ena comes into play because she's the royal sister that King Kamehameha III had hoped to marry. The missionaries came in the middle of that bargain, and they kept her under watch in Lahaina. Kina'u invited Nahi'ena when she was hapai to come to Honolulu and give birth in her birthing palace that she would name Hale-Kauila. And so the Kauila wood from Hale-Ea was brought here and put into the structure of this birthing palace. As we all know, our princess passed away, her infant passed away at birth. what most people don't know is that Kamehameha had her, in declining health, transported to the Manamana Heiau, on which he had a palace called Haleʻoluhe. And Manamana is, just to give you an idea where it was located, Queen's Hospital is built upon Manamana. In Haleʻoluhe, the palace was residing Keohokalole, the chiefess, who was hapai with Kalakaua. So this, it's a very dramatic time, and the passing of an infant chief, declining health, and ultimate death of the Princess Nahiʻenaʻena. King Kalakaua, or he wasn't king then, but the young baby Kalakaua being born, he was taken, as well as the body of Chiefess Nahiʻenaʻena, back to Halekauila. And she lay in repose there until the departure for Lahaina, the return to Maui. How many of you know where Mokuʻula is on Maui? It's in Lahaina. It's being reclaimed. It was the island in the middle of a brackish water pond, and that was the mausoleum for Keʻopuʻulani, the queen, and later for Princess Nahiʻenaʻena, and eventually other chiefesses. Anyway, last night I was trying to impress the authority with this history that, to me, seemed very significant. Is very significant, not seeming significant, because it really foretold the movement of the capital of the Kingdom of Hawaii from Lahaina to Honolulu by virtue of our king's residence. And eventually that did happen. Well, they went through all the plans of how they were going to put these supports in place, and they're finding the iwi there, and I told them, you're going to find much more. This ground was very, very important and sacred to us, and we should embrace it. I know I'm running out of time. I'm sorry. I apologize. Trying to do this. How long must Queen Liliuokalani wait for 120 years of injustice to terminate? How much longer will America take to act upon its 1993 apology bill and return the Kingdom of Hawaii to our Queen that it took from her on January 17th of 1893 with illegally landed blue-jacket U.S. Marines? How long? And we all know that the traitorous Lauren Thurston had a great deal to do with what happened that day, January 17th, 1893. He's the very guy that referred to our Hawaiian people as a disgusting people. That really teed me off. Far too long has America deprived Her Majesty, our Queen, of the justice promised by U.S. President Cleveland to restore her kingdom's stolen sovereignty. What good was America's executive agreement? What good is America's apology bill? There can only be one logical conclusion. We Hawaiians must reunite ourselves and stand again as one. Onipa akako, until our nation's work is done. Is done. How long will we Hawaiians take to rise as one lāhui again, and to proudly stand beneath our kingdom of Hawaii's flag. O ka hae Hawaiʻi, ha'aheoe. Let us stand united in the light of our kupuna. Let us stand as one and raise our voices to the sky. We must unite and act to finally vindicate our queen, who never relinquished her kingdom's sovereignty. She never relinquished her kingdom's sovereignty. How long? How long? How long? Mahalo no.